Connect a microphone to LS9 input connector 1. Connect LS9 Omni-out connectors 15 and 16, or Omni-out connectors 7 and 8 if you're using an LS9 16, to your power amplifier, and connect your power amp to appropriate speakers. You could use powered speakers in place of a power amp and passive speakers. Turn the LS9 power on. After the console has powered up, scene 000 should be initially selected by default. You can turn on your power amplifier or powered speakers. When working with an analog console, it was always necessary to check that all controls were normalized before setting up a mix. On most large consoles, this meant spending a considerable amount of time making sure that more than 1,000 controls were set to the appropriate neutral positions. On the LS9, all channel controls are concentrated in the Selected Channel section, and all default settings are stored in scene number 000. So all you have to do to normalize or reset the entire console is to recall scene 000. Make sure that layer of the 1 through 32 key on the left side of the display is lit. Then press the Channel 1 Select key. This selects Channel 1, which is the channel to which you connected your microphone. Adjust the head amp gain by speaking or singing into the microphone at approximately the expected actual volume while watching the channel fader level meter and adjusting the HA gain knob. Adjust for maximum signal level that does not cause the over indicator to light. After making sure that only one of the mix matrix keys on the left side of the display are lit, thus ensuring that the Sends on Fader mode is not selected, engage the Channel Fader On key. Then raise the fader carefully to the nominal 0 mark on the scale. Finally, make sure that the Stereo Master Fader On key is engaged and lit. Then carefully raise the faders. If you supply an input signal while doing this, the stereo master meter on the right of the display should start to show a reading, and you should begin to hear some sound. The Selected Channel section on an LS9 console corresponds to the channel modules on a traditional analog console, providing access to all of the main parameters for the currently selected channel. Each channel module on a conventional analog console has multiple controls. With the Selected Channel system, select keys are used to select a channel to be controlled from a comprehensive central Selected Channel Control section, resulting in a vast reduction in the number of necessary controls. Let's take a moment to compare the channel module controls on an analog console. The most important of these, head amp gain, EQ, and pan, are duplicated for every channel. The LS9, for example, features 4-band parametric channel EQ, controlled by 3 switchable knobs. The same degree of control requires 12 knobs on an analog console. Next, take a look at the fader section at the bottom of the channel module. The basic layout is similar, but the LS9 does not have the bus select switches that are common on analog consoles. The parameters for the channel selected via the select keys appear on the display. The Selected Channel section is located to the right of the LCD panel. The Selected Channel section Encoders and Keys control the parameters that appear in this section of the display. This includes head amp gain, EQ, 2 different dynamics thresholds, panning or balance, send to mix buses, and other controls. The high-pass filter can be controlled via the display only. To access more details of each parameter, such as pre or post for mix sends, open a pop-up window by pressing the corresponding knob. In the Sends on Fader mode, you can use the console's faders to adjust send levels to the mix buses, or send levels from the mix, stereo, LR, and mono buses to the matrix buses, and use the on keys to turn those sends on or off. With the channel layer selected, use the Mix Matrix Select keys to select the mix bus you want to edit. Press a mix bus key once and it will light. Press the same key a second time and all keys in the Mix Matrix section will light while the selected key flashes. Sends on Fader will flash at the top of the display. The currently selected mix bus is displayed. The bus knobs that were showing in the main display will disappear, indicating that control has been transferred to the console's faders. At this point, the faders control the levels of the corresponding signals sent to the mix buses. When you've finished setting the mix send levels, press the key that is currently flashing in the Mix Matrix Select section. The LS9 will return to normal mode. Alternatively, you can use the selected send encoder for these settings. Adjust the send level to the selected mix bus by turning the
The LS9 has an 8-unit virtual rack. Rack spaces 1 through 4 can be loaded with 31-band or Flex 15 graphic EQ units, while rack spaces 5 through 8 can be loaded with GEQ or SPX multi-effect units. Each 31-band GEQ unit provides 31 independently adjustable bands for a single channel, while the 15-band Flex 15 GEQ units let you control up to 15 of 31 bands for 2 channels. Press the Rack 1 through 4 and 5 through 8 keys in the Display Access section simultaneously to open the Virtual Rack GEQ effect display. Position the cursor at the rack button corresponding to the rack you want to access, and press the Enter key. Select Rack 5. The Rack Mounter pop-up window will open. Use the blank 31-band GEQ, Flex 15 GEQ, or Effect buttons to select the type of unit you want to mount in the selected rack space. Then press the OK button. Press the Cancel button if you want to close the pop-up window without mounting a GEQ or effect unit. For this example, select Effect. At this point, an effect module has been mounted in Rack 5. The labels on the left side of the rack correspond to inputs, while those on the right side of the rack correspond to outputs.